I'm Joseph Robles, and here's my final sprint project. So for this project, I set out to learn a technology called xslt, which lets you transform XML-like data to other types of data, usually within the XML family. So I have this file here that I'm going to be using for this project that I just have, a couple basic movies. They all have a title, they have directors, the year they were published, and their genre. And then I have a separate XML file over here with the plot as well of that movie. Well, not specifically of that movie, but a bunch of generic movie plots that we can then assign to these particular movie entries. But as you can see, this is just kind of data. And my goal was to take this data and turn it into a usable, viable website. So see lots and lots and lots of movies, as we can see over here, just tons of them. So xslt, we're able to, that's what this document is. So right here, we're able to define that we want each movie to be whatever's under title. Well, we want each title to be the movie, and we want that to be the key of what we're searching for here. And the template match, we're saying we want to start out at the root of the file, root of the XML file, which again is, sorry, I shouldn't have, there we go. The root, which is just movies. And then within movies, there's multiple instances of that. So we're just going to start at root. This is me just using some built-in functions to set the date and time that it's run. As you can see here, it's a lot like HTML. Basically, we declare a template, and then we make that template of whatever that type of data is, and then we're able to do something like this. XSL value of select equals and then a variable. And so we're able to pull variable data out. This time at run is a variable we made up here in our xslt, and it's actually just gonna, basically we're making it appear in the HTML. So we're gonna have a section in our HTML about movie containers, and then we're gonna make a for loop. We're saying for each essentially for each movie where we haven't used the title before in this for loop, we want to do this. So this allows us to eliminate duplicates and such. And part of this is where that key, movie key being the title, comes into play. We're able to go through that key. Anyway, and then we're going to sort them alphabetically using that xslt as well as we run through this for loop. So then we set up our template. So essentially for each movie in the in our XML file over here, we're going to create one of these data structures between our for each loops and populate it accordingly. So first thing we have is movie by position. So this -- position here is an xslt, I guess you call it an attribute. It's a method kind of. So I'm just taking the position of it in that array and subtracting 1 by it. So we start at movie 0 and move all the way up so that we have independent IDs for each thing so that I can target them with JavaScript later in the project. Anyway, we have the class of title here in our HTML, and then we simply pull the value of title, which if we look at our XML is this right here, right? And then we do the same thing with author, which, truth be told, I should probably change to director. So let's do that right now. To match our tag in our XML, but again, we can do anything we want with our CSS. We're just pulling the value out like you would a variable in anything else. And this here, we're doing some conditional logic. We're going to check whether the year is less than 1950. This is how we do less than in xslt. And if it is less than 1950, so if it's a movie 1950 or older, well, 1949 or older, then we're going to have the class of release year classic, which will apply some different CSS rules to it. And then we're also going to add classic into the release year tag. Otherwise, we're just going to have the normal release year without any classic. And both of those we're pulling from the year value in our XML. And then our otherwise is like our else. This is our else statement, if else. Choose is an if statement. And then right here we're calling a function that I created. Well, sort of. We're doing a copy of the output of the function here, and we're using the genre tag in our XML as an argument for the function. So if we go into the function, actually, basically it's just a big if statement. So again, this is a function, and we're going to, if the genre equals sci-fi, we're going to add this class. If it's drama, we're going to make it this class, and so on, which allows us to more easily target it with CSS rules and JavaScript, though we didn't target it with JavaScript at all in this particular project. But yeah, it's just going to put in that particular genre here. So the line itself will look something like this, but with genre instead of title. And then we also have the plot as well, and this is just empty. The goal was to be able to take this plot and be able to parse it in there, but I kept running into some issues with file permissions and some other things, so I ended up just appending it with JavaScript at the end of the day as a quick fix. But it's entirely possible to put it in here. If I put another hour or two into it, I probably could have. And then we get to the end of the for loop, and it keeps running. And then once we run out of items in that list, then we continue and finish our xslt or HTML document. So we're going to go ahead and save that, and let's run it. Assuming, there we go, cd xslt-movie. There we go, dir. Okay, now I ran into some, I made a batch file. Execute.bat. And this will go ahead, and it's basically just running a Java command, which we can see here. It's just running a tool called Saxon, which is essentially the industry standard for converting, applying and running XSLT code. So it takes the input file of our XML, takes our XSLT document, and then what we want it to output. So it went ahead and it created this movies.html file, which if we go live with, well, if we look very briefly, you can see we have these individual movies right here going on throughout all of it, and there will be, you can see the genre, the color changes on the genre depending on what it is. And where each one of these little squares represents a data structure. So you can see we have our counting movie 1, movie 2, movie 3, and so on. We have our genres and our different tagging of genres working, whether it be soft, sci-fi, or action, or anything else. And we have most of our header here as well. If we go back to our HTML, you can see the date that it was last updated, and the time is 1 minute ago, which is when we ran it. So if you run that again, it updates, so you can see the last time the XSLT was actually run through. And yeah, that's my project.